Hey, Shalom Akim, Shalom to you brothers out there. All right, first and foremost, I got to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Shem Rakak, Dash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salute to sincere Akim out there of the hopeful elect. All right, and this is just gonna be a quick impromptu, through the spirit. I'm gonna entitle this video called "The Gathering." All right, and there's two sides to this coin. Okay, because the Lord is going to gather his elect, of course, which we always teach, all right, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, that he's going to gather the elect of the nation of Israel, in which the nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Any one of you who are from Negroid and Indian descent on your father's side, through your father's lineage, okay? So that means you can look like a so-called white man, or you can look like any of the heathen nations, but as long as your forefathers line goes back to any of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, then that makes you an Israelite, according to the seed of your fathers. All right, and but ultimately the Lord is about gathering his elect, because out of the whole nation of Israel, not all Israel is going to be saved. Okay, and America is going to be destroyed, and different parts of the world is going to be destroyed in this oncoming world's war that we are actually living in right now, on the forefront to this third world's war. Okay, it's disguised by many names: the war on terror, the holy religious war that's supposed to be taking place out there in the Middle East, between Christianity and the Islamic world. All right, so it goes by many disguises. Okay, but ultimately it's World War III. Just like when World War I and World War II was fought, when it was being fought, nobody was calling it World War I or World War II. During the time of World War I, it was being called the Great War. It wasn't until the smoke cleared and the so-called white man started to jot what was recorded in history as it became known as World War I, as we know to this day. All right, so World War III is the war that's being fought today out there in the Middle East, and it's going to spread throughout the world. All right, ultimately, because the Lord has prophesied it to be so, in which those nuclear missiles that are sitting in these silos in different armed vehicles that also carry these nuclear missiles, the Lord is going to deem those missiles to be launched one day, and most of these missiles are going to be launched at America. Okay, but back to the topic at hand. This video I'm gonna do right now through the spirit is called "The Gathering." All right, because the Lord is all about gathering his elect. First scripture I'm gonna bring out, this is the book of Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9 verse 8. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth." So the Lord is going to destroy the sinful kingdom, in which that sinful kingdom is talking about America, which is also known in the Bible as Babylon the Great, among many other names. All right, it says "Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth." So America is going to be utterly wasted and utterly destroyed via thermonuclear missiles. It says, "Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord." Now, who's the house of Jacob? The house of Jacob is, once again, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? Now, the 2/3 of you niggas are wicked, man. You're continuing on being wicked. You're ignorant to the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. You're not paying the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, the prophets of the Lord, especially at Great Millstone. You're not considering this word that we're teaching, and you're not paying us any mind. So you're going to continue on in your ignorance, being murderers, drug dealers, idolaters, pimps, prostitutes, and whores, and whatever wicked criminal acts that you Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans indulge in. All right, so therefore the Lord is not going to deliver you on this trip. All right, okay. It says it says the Lord will not utterly destroy he will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. Okay, meaning the Lord is not going to completely destroy the sons of Jacob. All right, and that's because he has an elect that he's going to deliver. It reads on to say, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations." All right, now Jacob and Israel is synonymous. Okay, and the nation of Israel has been scattered amongst all of the nations. All right, so you got Jakes all over the place, man, all throughout the world. All right, and like I said, you have some Israelites that look like some of the heathens out there, man, because they were scattered into those heathen lands. All right, so you're gonna have some Israelites that look like straight up Africans. You're gonna have some Israelites that look like Chinese men. You're gonna have some Israelites that look like East Indians. Okay, you're gonna have some Israelites that look like Caucasians. All right, because they've been scattered. The nation of Israel has been scattered all around the world, man, pursuant to the curses. All right, which is part of the prophecy. Okay, it says, like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Yeah, okay, because out of the whole nation of Israel, the Lord said he's not going to utterly destroy the house of Jacob, but he's gonna save a few. All right, and there's an elect few that the Lord is going to deliver. All right, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Okay, but the two-thirds of Israel is going to be destroyed. So the 1/3 is going to be gathered together. That's the elect that the Lord has been gathering unto this day, man. All right, and then this is the book of Revelations. This is the book of Revelations. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the book of Ezekiel real quick. Then I'm gonna go into Revelation. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 1. It says, the hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. All right, and that valley that is talking about America. All right, when you read, a lot of you people go to church and you read Psalms, the 23rd chapter. A lot of you people have your Bibles open, collecting dust in your house, open to Psalms, the 23rd chapter. All right, where it says, the valley of the shadow of death. All right, and that valley, and you people don't even know what that actually means. Okay, and the valley of the shadow of death is the same valley that Ezekiel is bearing witness of in the 37th chapter, which is talking about America. All right, because a valley is a low land and America is a low and bitter land for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right, so Ezekiel said this valley was full of bones. All right, it's not talking about actual bones. It's talking spiritual, in the spiritual sense of dead people in a dead state of mind. All right, people who lost their nationality. Okay, and you so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans had your nationality stripped away from you in slavery under the so-called white man. And that's a fact. That's a historical fact. All right, the so-called Negroes were born over here on this side of the world to serve slavery, and they had their nationality whipped and beat out of them. All right, the same thing with the Native Americans. The Native Americans had their families broken apart and their children shipped off to boarding schools, in which a lot of these young men were raped and taught to take on the identity of the European custom. All right, in which their names were changed and all of that, man. You know, so they lost their true nationality. So they became dead to their original nationality, and even unto this day, they don't know who they are. All right. Okay, so it reads on to say, "It caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry." And we see that, right? There's plenty of Israelites all throughout America, man, from the East Coast to the West Coast. All right, and our people are lost, man. They don't know who the hell they are. They don't know their true nationality. It reads on to say, "And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord Yahweh, thou knowest." Again he said unto me, "Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." All right, and that's what we do, man. When you see the brothers out there on the highways and the byways, on the streets, you know, teaching with the garments on, they they reading out of the Bible, we're prophesying unto our people. All right, we have the sign, the 12 tribe sign, letting our people know that they are the children of Israel according to the scriptures. All right, so we're living examples of what Ezekiel is seeing according to the prophecy. All right, it says verse 5, it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. All right, and that's what's taking place now. So you got a lot of Jakes waking up because the Lord put the spirit on certain men, you know, our elders, the apostles, and their elders before them, to get a true understanding of these scriptures, man, and to teach it, you know, in which that in turn has gathered men into the truth and woken men up to their true nationality. All right, it reads on to say, you know, and that's the breath. That's the breath that is coming into these bones. The breath represents the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, the true breakdown of the scriptures. It reads on to say, verse 6, and I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. All right, so you got Jake waking up all over the world, man. You know, it started here in America, particularly out here in New York City, because the truth came out of One West. Because you had a lot of Jakes, that a lot of so-called Negroes that knew that they were the Jews, or recognized that they were the real Jews, prior to One West being established. But they didn't recognize some of the other tribes as being Israelites. It wasn't until Abba Bivens, you know, through the spirit, Abba Bivens was teaching the 12 tribes, including the Latin tribes in it, including the North American Indians and the Seminole Indians, you know, and the whole 12 tribes of the nation of Israel as a whole. Okay, when them other Jakes that knew that they were Jews, they weren't teaching that. Okay, they were strictly teaching that the black man in America was the real Jew, and that was it. All right, so they didn't recognize the other tribes. Okay, but now you got Jake waking up all over the world, man. You know, you got Jake waking up all over the world, and that's through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. It reads on to say, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And this is the gathering, man. This is the gathering. All right, bone to his bone. You know, Judah linking up with Benjamin, linking up with Ephraim, linking up with Simeon, linking up with Naphtali, linking up with Issachar, you know, linking up with Gad and Reuben. All of the 12 tribes as a whole being gathered, coming together, the house of David. All right, because when King David ruled, the nation of Israel was all gathered as one. You know, there was no division amongst us. All right, so the Lord got it where we're coming together, where he's bringing a great gathering unto his nation. You know, it reads on to say, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, come from the four winds, O breathe, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. All right, and that's through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah that he set up the prophets, and we go out there and we prophesy into the wind, man. You know, for the most part, when we standing out there on the streets teaching, it's not a great number of people listening to us, man. It's not a crowd. The masses of Israel is not coming to seek this wisdom and this knowledge that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is bringing forth unto his people. All right, and that's why we upload these videos into the internet, and the word goes, the word travels to who it may be, whoever's fit to receive it. All right, which is mainly the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, well, for the most part, yeah, we just go out there and prophesy, man, because we're commanded to. But we know that the word of the Lord doesn't go out vain, and we see that. We can clearly see that because you got Israelite camps popping up all over the world, man. All right, anytime you look on any particular YouTube video, any trendy video on YouTube, sometimes when you scroll down in the comment sections, you got Israelites, people leaving comments talking about talking about the Israelites or shouting out the Israelites, man. You know, or even shouting out the name Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. So we know that that the word of the Lord is real and is true, and that Jake knows that they're the Israelites. This word ain't going out vain, man. You know, even though it seemed like when we out there teaching, ain't nobody listening to us. But the Lord, hey, the Lord said the spirit travels like the wind, man. So those who are able to receive it, who's able to understand it, they're gonna get it, man. They're gonna get it. So the word is certainly not going out vain. All right. It reads on verse 10. It says, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. All right, and that's the point. That's the main point that I wanted to get at. All right, so the Lord is raising up a great army. He's gathering an army, man. You know, that's why this video is called The Gathering. All right, and yeah, there's a great army that's being gathered right now here in America and throughout the world, man. And brothers networking via social media, via YouTube, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter, all right, Instagram, and all of that stuff. You know, brothers is teaching. They're using the internet as an avenue to teach each other and wake brothers up, man. You know, and gather up camps and gather up more teachers and bring more fruit into the fold, man. Gather more fruit. All right. So this is the book of Revelations, chapter 11. Book of Revelations, the 11th chapter. Try to do this quick. I'm gonna start at verse 8. All right. Revelations 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is that same valley that Ezekiel spoke of, which is the same valley of the shadow of death that King David spoke of in the book of Psalms, 23rd chapter. All right, which represents America. That great city is America. Okay, it says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right, and it's self-explanatory of why America is named spiritually Sodom, because of all of the homosexuality that takes place in the society, man. You know, the promotion of the gay agenda, the LGBTQ community. All right, and it's spiritually called Egypt because it carries on the same customs of ancient Egypt. All right, the same wicked philosophies that Egypt had. They do the same exact shit here in America. They promote the same exact thing here in America. All right, out there in Central Park, in the middle of Central Park in New York City, you have right behind the Met Museum, you have Cleopatra's Needle, which is an obelisk. Okay, which is basically nothing more than a phallic, because back in Egypt they worshipped the phallic. That was one of their main symbols. All right, but you have an obelisk right behind the Met in Central Park that came straight from Egypt, man, from the city Heliopolis, which means city of the sun. All right, and that obelisk was shipped over here to New York City and erected in Central Park behind the Met. Okay, and it came from Heliopolis, in which Egypt was always known for worshiping the sun, and they do the same thing here in America. Okay, that's why Sunday is considered in America sort of like a Sabbath day, you know, or a day of rest. You know, most people go to church on Sunday. They shut down. They used to shut down a lot of businesses on Sunday. Back in the days, you know, stores used to close up. You know, it was meat markets, pharmacies, you know, bakeries and all of that stuff. They used to close up on Sundays. They didn't sell alcoholic beverages on Sundays. You know, that goes back to the worship of the sun, going back to Egypt. All right. Let me read on. It says, where also our Lord was crucified. Yeah, because here in America, this is where they promoted the image of Caesar Borgia being the new image of the Lord. All right. So this is where our Lord was crucified, or his image was X'd out or crossed out. It reads on to say, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. All right. Yeah, that's because the other nations, they put our people in captivity. All right. The other nations, they knew who we are as a nation. You know, the average Chinese man working in a Chinese restaurant, he doesn't know that you're an Israelite. Okay, but you best believe that the Chinese, the Chinese president and these top sheiks, these Arab sheiks out there in the Middle East, they know exactly who the hell we are, man. They know exactly who you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are. All right, the elites of their nation understand that you are the Lord's chosen people, the people of the Bible. All right, and they're not teaching you that. You know, they're not making any effort into teaching you that, man. All right. It says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And that's what these other nations did, man. You know, they traded us amongst themselves to their benefit. Okay, furthering our oppression, and they capitalized off of us, man. Just like today in your communities, you have the Chinese man open up a Chinese store. You have an East Indian open up a liquor store. You have an Arab open up a goddamn greasy chicken spot in your neighborhood and open up a corner bodega selling you ham and cigarettes and all kind of shit, capitalizing off of you, man. You know, but meanwhile, you jakes can't set up shop and businesses in your own communities, man. All right, so they're making merry, sending gifts one to another, at your demise or your oppression. Okay, it says because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And the two prophets represents the two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. All right, because Israel was split into two kingdoms. Okay, it reads on verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua entered into them. All right, yeah, that 3 days and a half represents 350 years, man. From 1619, the bulk of the slaves coming over here to America, to 1969, when this word started being published abroad by Abba Bivens. Okay, that's when the spirit of life started entering into our people, man. Our people started being gathered unto this word, man. All right, it says, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. That's right, and our people started to stand upon their feet as men, being real men. See, right now, the so-called white man, the so-called the Zionist devils that run shit behind the scenes, okay, are trying to promote a gay agenda to feminize our people or demasculate the men of Israel, man. Okay, but the rare breed of men that's left is the elect men that's being gathered today, man. And we stand upon our feet as men through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And great fear is falling upon our enemies, the elites of the society. All right, because they're looking like, damn, our plan is not fully coming through. You know, not everybody is bending to the will of Satan. All right, so and also as well, the elites of the society, they know these prophecies, man. They know who you Jakes are, who you so-called blacks and Latinos are. All right, and they know the prophecy of you being the next ones to rule. So when they see you standing on your feet as men, pulling up your pants, okay, and being masculine, all right, that sends a great level of fear into them, man. Okay, and most importantly, knowing who you are and knowing who they are, because that's another thing, man. You have to know who these devils are, man. All right. Okay, and we go out there and we teach the world that the so-called white man, the Caucasian man, is the nation of Edom, according to the scriptures, man. All right. So that's the gathering that the Lord is doing right now to this day. All right, this is prophecy unfolding before you people's eyes, man. Israel waking up, the black man recognizing that he's the real Jew. Okay. All right, you Latinos and you Native Americans coming to the understanding that you're the Israelites, man. That the black man is not your enemy, but in fact, he's your brother, okay? And we coming together as a unit, praising our maker, Yahweh Yahushua, you know, that the Lord blessed us with that name, which is the key to the kingdom of heaven, man, okay? And that's in a great deal of fear in the elites of the society, all right? So that's the gathering right there, man. But on the flip side of the gathering, all right, there's another gathering that's taking place as well, man, which is the gathering of these different armies and nations coming together to do battle, okay, amongst one another in which this is all orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, in which he's doing that to eventually destroy our enemies, man. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. It says, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, all right, in which the Hebrew word Armageddon means mountain of troops, from the Hebrew word Harmageddon, all right, it means mountain of troops. And that's what you see. You see the news right now. Just recently, President Biden sent 3,000 troops to Afghanistan to help some U.S. civilians, to help the U.S. civilians in the embassies out there flee the country, flee Afghanistan. All right. But guess what, man? You got the 3,000 troops out there, but you got troops out there in Iraq. All right. You got troops still out there in Syria. Okay, you got troops in different regions of the Middle East. Okay, so you know that particular region out there, that Middle Eastern region, will always be occupied by U.S. forces until the Lord comes back. Until the Lord comes back, and until that Third World War is being fully taken on, man. Okay, so that's all orchestrated by the Lord. The elites of the society, they can try to pull them troops out of there, but it ain't gonna work, because the Lord got them in a quagmire, in a position, in a predicament where it's impossible for them to get out of, man. The damage is already done. All right, so I'm gonna read that again, Revelation 16 and 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, or Armageddon, Harmageddon in the Hebrew, which means mountain of troops. In the Middle East is a region of where troops are at. All right, Afghanistan is a mountainous country, man. Okay, all right, and there's a bunch of troops from all over out there, man. You got the NATO forces, you got the U.S. and their military branches out there. Okay, so there's nothing but war going on out there in that region, man. All right, this is let me look for this other scripture real quick that I wanted. Bear with me for a second, man. I'm gonna try to wrap this up real soon. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. All right, yeah. So we supposed to hold our peace and keep patient until the day till the day that the Lord deems it that we rise up to the prey, man. All right, and who's the prey? The so-called white man and the other nations, man. All right. It says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the Lord said he's going to gather the nations, and that's what he's doing. He's gathering all of the nations, man, you know, in preparation for this Third World War that's coming. Okay, and that's the gathering, man. You know, the gathering of the elect of the nation of Israel. And also, on the flip side, the gathering of the nations to engage in the Third World War that's going to lead to the demise of the nation of Edom, Esau, the Edomites, which is the so-called white race, so they can be destroyed, man. So they can be destroyed, all right? So that's the gathering that the Lord has set up and that's established, and it's all according to prophecy, and we bear witness unto it unto this day, you know? So I'm going to end this video on that note. I'm going to say shalom to you Akim out there. All right, keep fighting the good fight. Abarat Dazal, see you brothers in the next video. Shalom.